to look at James Billington's book, probably one of the most important books you're ever going to find. Today, James Billington is the chief librarian for the Library of Congress. So this man is without a doubt well suited to discuss the story in his book about the communist world movement and how it was financed, who did it, what the symbols meant. This is really an important book, James Billington, and the book is called Fire in the Minds of Men.
You better have some sympathy, yeah, 'cause it's the educated people running the lives of our society.
Now, in the book Fire in the Minds of Men, in the inside cover, it says, the history of modern revolutions is the story of people in the grips of ideas and beliefs. In this masterful work, James Billington, whose Icon in the Act, this was his first book, establishes him both as a formidable scholar and a sparkling storyteller. But in this book, The Fire in the Minds of Men, he traces the course of the revolutionary faith from its earliest origins in occult Freemasonry to the allegedly scientific Marxism of today. Now, in the introduction is a profound paragraph in Fire in the Minds of Men. James Billington says in the introduction, a recurrent mythic model for revolutionaries, early romantics and young Karl Marx, and the Russians of Lenin's time, was Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods for the use of mankind. The Promethean faith of revolutionaries resembles in many respects the general modern belief that science would lead men out of darkness into light. But there was also a more pointed millennial assumption that on the new day that was dawning, the sun would never set. Early during the French Revolution was born something referred to as, quote, the solar method of the revolution, suggesting that the sun was rising on a new era in which darkness would vanish forever. This image became implanted at a level of consciousness that simultaneously interpreted something real and produced a new reality. The new reality that they, the secret society, sought was radically secular and stringently simple. The idea was not the balanced complexity of the new American Federation, but the occult simplicity of its great seal, an all-seeing eye atop the pyramid over the words Novus Ordo Seclorum. Very important. This is why in New York City at Rockefeller Plaza you will see Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods to illuminate the minds of our masters on the earth. The godly wisdom was stolen by the god Prometheus and brought to the earth and given to our illuminated minds, or what we call, those who we call Illuminati, to illuminate our masters who control the human race, implying that they have knowledge of the heavens and wisdom of the world that we mortal men do not have. That's why they are the illuminated ones. So, the sun, and again we go back to this concept of the new day that was dawning. A very interesting quote, very, very important quote from Manly Palmer Hall, the great Masonic philosopher, writer, a brilliant man. In his book called Masonic Orders of Fraternity, he says this: a world fraternity was needed, sustained by a deep and broad program of education according to the method. Meaning there's a method to all of this. Such a fraternity could not immediately include all men, but it could unite the activities of certain kinds of men, regardless of their racial and religious beliefs or the nations in which they dwelt. He goes on to say, these were the men of towardness, those sons of tomorrow, whose symbol was a blazing sun rising over the mountains of the east. That's a very important point. These were the men of two warriors, those sons of tomorrow whose symbol was the blazing sun rising over the mountains of the east. He goes on to say, while it is difficult to trace the elements of a pattern never intended to be obvious, but the broad shape of the design is dimly apparent, an invisible empire in the Empire State, New York. So this invisible empire is using the symbol of the blazing sun rising over the mountains of the east. And you see it in Romania, in Mongolia, and Armenia, State Seal of Santa Barbara, and Arizona, Illinois. You can go on for hours on this stuff. Montana, Nevada, Ohio, California Insurance, New York. Here's the city of New York seal with the sun rising behind the mountains of the east. Obama's sun behind the mountains, rising behind the mountains. Go to Google and put Obama and New Day, and you will see there's almost 1,947,000 back then. Almost 1 million entries on the web talking about Obama bringing the dawn of a new day. It's everywhere. Barack Obama's dawn of a new day for America. A new day dawns for our country. So here we have newspapers from the UK. And it says only a strategic partnership with China will keep this new dawn bright. Here is Gordon Brown with his wife talking to Ted Kennedy, and it says Gordon Brown, the Prime Minister of England, calls for a new dawn of collaboration with the U.S. and the European Union. Bush sees a bright dawn emerging. Here's Brown calls for a new world order, which would be a part of that truly global society of the new dawn. Or even Las Vegas now is now having shows in Las Vegas called the New Day. Even the Catholic Church is getting into the act, talking about the new world that's coming in the new dawn. Now, there's a very important book that cannot be found today. It's a very, very good book, and I've got 2 copies of it. Page 130, you'll see this is the state arms for the old Soviet Communist Empire. But you will see the sun rising over the earth, coming up onto the earth. The Soviet coat of arms graphically presents, there it is again, the dawn of a new day for the entire world. So this is a very important symbol for world communism, is the dawning of a new day for the entire world. Somebody had better wake up and understand what's going on here. Somebody needs to start doing their homework and realize that these symbols for world communism are now dominating America. We are now a full-blown Nazi, fascist dictatorship, communist dictatorship. And the people of this country have no idea in the world. Christians are now putting together New Day Christian Fellowship, New Day Christian Church, Grand New Day. Christians are now walking by the hundreds and thousands and millions to churches that are promoting this new day that's coming, a New Day Christian Center. This stuff is replete everywhere. Christians have bought 100% into this whole communist strategy. New Day Christian churches, New Day publishing for children, everything New Day on the radio, New Day churches, It's everywhere. Christians have bought into this and have no idea in the world this is an Illuminati, well-planned trick to deceive the whole world into buying into a new world order communist Nazi movement. I'll show you why I say communist Nazi, because there's not 10 cents worth of difference between any of them. Here is Adolf Hitler. And Adolf Hitler wrote a very important letter to the German people many years ago. And in it he said Germany can be saved only by a dictatorship of the national will and determination to take action. So he said, my fellow Germans, awaken. A new day is dawning. We're talking about Adolf Hitler now. And he's praising the new day that was dawning on the earth for Nazism. Again, the eagle and the sun. The sun order taking over the world. So they put this out on the History Channel, and it's called The New World Order. And you can buy this whole set from the History Channel. New World Order. And what is it about? Well, the picture. It's about Adolf Hitler, because that's what the Nazis were trying to establish, as a new world order. And of course, Bush was called the son of the New World Order. This is in Time magazine. Obviously, he was the son of the New World Order because his family financed Adolf Hitler. The Bush family put up the money to finance Adolf Hitler and the murder of people all over the world. So that's why the History Channel has a television series called The New World Order about Adolf Hitler, and Bush is referred to as the son of the New World Order. I don't know if that tells you anything. And here's the New World Order, Adolf Hitler, and here's the Bushes who financed Adolf Hitler. They're still working on building a New World Order. And of course, behind all of this is, of course, the Vatican. The Pope calls for a New World Order. You better find out. You'll see the Vatican. The Pope is wearing the sunrise on his papal headdress. Here is Adolf Hitler in the Vatican with the papal officials in the Vatican. Because Adolf Hitler merely represented the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church represented Rome and the domination of the Roman Empire, and as far back as the Caesars, their symbol was the symbol of the sun order. So Hitler was a Catholic, was never excommunicated, financed, organized, directed by the Catholic Church. So just keep continuing to send money to the Holy Father, and one day you're going to wake up and find out what the Catholic Church was really all about. The entire earth is bought into this world communist Illuminati secret societies financed out of England and America to bring about a new world order, which is a communist Nazi movement to enslave the human race. Understand the right and the left wing of the eagle, the sun order. Right wing is Vatican, Holy Father, Morton Bormann, Adolf Hitler, Nazi, New World Order, Republicans. And the left wing is the Soviet, Communist, New World Order, Democrats, Secret Society, Illuminati. Both are financed by the same secret societies.
Marty, I'm thinking of a song.
Alex, please, not now.
Oh, yes, it's a wonderful song. I think you're familiar with it. Da da da
Oh, no.
da da.
Oh, no, you don't. No. I'm not listening. Start
spreading the news.
I don't know you.
I'm leaving today. We are a
He's
great
funny.
big part
Who's
of it. Come on, you know the words. 2 little words.
New York.
New York.
Oh, shut up! Can't slip in here.
Caesar of Rome, when the Caesars of Rome went into Britannia, their operations, their seat of government for Rome in Britannia was in the city of York, England. So now we've got the Vatican backing the British monarchy and coming into and in York, England, but now we have it moving into America and to New York, the Empire State.
Getting back to the Bolshevik Revolution, one of the ironies of it is that both Lenin and Trotsky were in exile, one in Germany, one in the United States. Tell us about who helped them get where they were going to make sure that revolution was pulled off.
Well, let me summarize about 4 chapters into 4 minutes. Trotsky was in New York, so there is no question that Woodrow Wilson, who issued a passport for Trotsky, and the New York financiers who financed Trotsky, and the British Foreign Office allowed Trotsky to perform his part in the revolution. Now, over in Switzerland, you get Lenin, who's in exile. He went to Germany in the famous seal train by permission and with the encouragement of the German General Staff. And yet Germany and Britain were supposed to be fighting each other. And you get them both moving as 2 key revolutions into place inside Russia. And then, of course, the rest is history. They created a revolution with no more than about 10,000 revolutionaries. They needed assistance from the West, and they got assistance from Germany, from Britain, and from the United States to continue and consolidate the revolution.
Just tell us all over again why.
Why? You won't
me.
find this in the textbooks. Why is to bring about, I suspect, a plan to control world society in which you and I won't find the freedoms to believe and think and do as we believe.
Did these power brokers actually envision at that time a one-world government that would be socialist?
Yes. The second statement I made was that they did not want the Soviet Union to develop into another free enterprise society, and that this would offset it. Aiding the revolution would offset this event. That was made as a statement in 1919. You have various books, one by Gillette, the razor blade Gillette, called The City, I think it was, which laid out this corporate socialism for the world to see as early as, 1905, 1910. So around the turn of the century, you begin to see actually written statements by these internationalist businessmen of the kind of socialist empire they want to bring about. It's there that these books, of course, are not included in your courses in political science and history at the regular universities.
You ever seen New York City? It's just not natural. It's all some kind of whacked out conspiracy. We're going to the wide open spaces of Antarctica. The wide. Hell? You can actually go there?
If your family was awakened in the middle of the night by a team of federal officers, well, that's exactly what happened to a woman and her children in Granville County.
Amanda Lamb is in the newsroom joining us now. And Amanda, we understand that because this case falls under the Patriot Act, a lot of the usual rights for defendants not available here.
That's right, David. The Patriot Act was created after 9/11. It allows federal agents to investigate suspected cases of terrorism swiftly in order to better protect our country. Annette Lundaby says 10 armed FBI agents, along with 3 local officers, stormed her home looking for her son. They handcuffed him and presented her with a search warrant.
They didn't find anything.
The teenager was taken to a juvenile facility in Indiana, where the bomb threat was supposedly made. His mother has had little access to him since his arrest. She says the Patriot Act stripped her son of his right to due process.
And we have no rights under the Patriot Act to even defend them, because the Patriot Act supersedes, basically, is superseding the Constitution.
There's nothing a matter of public record. All those normal rights are just suspended in the air.
Never in my worst nightmare did I ever think that it would be my own government that I would have to protect my children from. This is the United States, and I feel like I live in a third world country now.
Lundaby says this type of case is not what the Patriot Act was intended for. Boyce agrees.
It was to protect the public.
better than this.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for our leaders to act. Demand a plan. Right now.
Guys, we're running out of time.
Liberty was also attacked in Boston last week in an alarming scene that was scarier than the bombing event itself. Forced lockdown of an entire city, military tanks riding through the streets, warrantless door-to-door searches by 1,500 militarized police, forcing families out of their homes at gunpoint. What may look like a scene from the latest big-budget Hollywood movie was actually America's first taste of martial law following the Boston bombing. Ron Paul called the scene deeply disturbing in a recent interview.
Those pictures really concern me. That is such a visual image when you see thousands and thousands of troops, and they weren't your local friendly policemen that were involved. I mean, can you imagine all these people being lost? They became prisoners. It was accepted too easily. It was martial law.
Even gun-grabbing liberal Bill Maher sees the writing on the wall.
Show some of the pictures of the Boston police, okay? Look at this. I mean, if this is what you have, why don't you invade a country? Show some of the other ones. I mean, go up to Canada, take their oil. Look at these. These are half-tracks. I don't care what you might be going to call it an urban assault vehicle, but this country is becoming a police state, and it is very troubling to me.
The excuse for the complete military takeover of Watertown, Massachusetts was the manhunt for a 19-year-old accused of committing a horrific crime. What normally would have been a police investigation quickly turned into the complete military occupation of an American city, conditioning us to believe that it's the government's job to keep us safe.
Here's what Albert Pike, as far back as 1871, wrote to Giuseppe Mazzini. He said, quote, "We shall unleash the nihilist and the atheist, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all of its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, the origins of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and then the multitude of the world, disillusioned with Christianity, but whose deistic spirits will be from that moment without compass or direction, but anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out into public view, a manifestation which will result in the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time." Read over that and think about what you're reading. That was written as far back as 1871 about the world minority of revolutionaries bringing to the world terrorism. And it says, "We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists," showing that this has been planned as far back as 1871.